Hey, all you perfectionists. Welcome to Perfect Edition Comics. I'm your host, Perfect. Are you the kind of person who likes to walk 10,000 miles just to drop your ring off at the nearest volcano? Do you like to play games with your thrones? Join me on a dark fantasy RPG romp. Just give me 2 seconds to grab my plus 12 flaming fantasy sword of puns and my bottomless backpack of dad jokes. Let's do this thing. Let's kick this off with a little bit of a size comparison. I'm putting this next to Harleen because they're both DC Black Label hardcovers. This is not an oversized hardcover like Harleen. Keep that in mind. It's just a standard hardcover. Let me grab this Batman Ego for you just so you can take a look at it, get that out the way. So there you go. It is thicker, of course, a lot more in terms of page count, but it's exactly the same trim size as a standard DC hardcover. Take a look at the spine and your back cover art. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Look at that. That's so cool. You should click that. Let's look under the dust jacket. And here you have a classic fantasy cover. Really like that. Nice finish. Again, the spine is made to look like this old school kind of fantasy tome, and some really beautiful, stunning cover art on the back as well. Love the little touch of the crown logo on the front. Let's take a look at this dust jacket because it is something awesome. So you just got the side panels and then it folds out. Oh yes, don't worry, there's a lot more coming. So first of all, on the left, you've got the pinnacle, which is something I don't want to reveal yet. Then a central map of the Black Stair, which is a region in this land. And then oh yeah, this thing folds out into an insane huge mega map with some cities and everything else. And all of this is done by a professional cartographer who actually does RPG and board game as well as art and everything else. This is just a beautiful, beautiful dust jacket treatment and something I've never seen before. Awesome. Let's just open this bad boy up. Same map is on the inside cover, which is great. If you just want to quickly reference it, you can as you read, which is something I do and I think a lot of fantasy fans do as well. Really nice title page, again using the treatment of the map in the background as well. So you have all of the creators here on the left hand side and then the table of contents and details on the right. So you do have a bunch of different creators here, and the ones I want to really point out are Jared Blando, the cartographer I just spoke about. And then also you do have this Last God Tales from the Book of Ages, which is written by a professional role-playing designer. Kick it off with the main series, then we go into an extra, The Last God, Songs of Lost Children, Tales from the Book of Ages, and then a bunch about the creators at the end. Each issue starts with some amazing cover art, just virgin cover art on the face, which is great. You've also got the creators on the left-hand side of each issue as you go through. So this is a dark fantasy book. Let me get a little bit into the story as you take a look at the visuals, which are stunning, by the way. The art is just god tier in this. The plague of flowers. A pestilence that makes vines grow through people, kill them horrifically, and create an undead army/plague. To be honest, it's really brutal and horrific, complete with exploding heads, chests bursting as vines kill and turn people into half-plant zombie things. Kind of think Plants vs. Zombies, but in a really mature way, I guess. Okay, maybe that didn't sell it. It's dark, mature horror fantasy is what I'm trying to say. A group of 5 heroes climb the Black Stair in the mountains far to the east to battle the last god and bring an end to this plague. The story picks up 30 years later with the group of heroes many years older in middle to old age and focuses on a slave turned gladiator named Avinda. What is his past? How is it linked to the other heroes? And what role will he play as once again evil rises? Will a new group of heroes rise up to defeat this new threat? You have a diverse and deep backstory and lore to the world, aided by the, I guess now standard mixing of different races. The elves are subjugated by the humans and used as slaves. And even early on, it's a fascinating and cruel history to read how the humans moved south and took over the elves' homelands. You've got the hardy Northmen and of course your dwarves too. So for traditional fantasy fans, you'll get your fix of different cultures and the fireworks that come from those relationships. Sexism also blends in with racism to give you a dark reflection of our current world in a fantasy setting. Riccardo Federici just has amazing art in this. Something that stood out to me was the elaborate costume design. This headpiece, for example. Again, here you can just see the different dresses, clothing, and it's very distinct for each different culture and race that is around. So there's a nice difference, and you can kind of see different characters and their backgrounds depending on what clothing they wear, which is great if you're really kind of into fantasy lore and the background of different things. This is done on matte paper, which goes with the vibe. It is also very thin, so it's actually a very light book to pick up and read, which to me is not a bad thing. Pretty tired of weightlifting all those omnis, if I'm honest. Again, you can see the elaborate costume design here. You'll find extra lore at the back of each issue. The typeface and copywork is just god tier in this. Intricate intro piece here, followed by custom languages like Lord of the Rings, all the way through to little cliff notes as well, where they actually reference the year and then explain exactly when this takes place. All of these notes pertain to what you just read in the issue and give more insight and backstory to the characters and world. It's always a visual reference that matches a panel you saw previously and then actually talks about it. So something you've just seen in the issue you've just read, you really get a deeper backstory for it. Here's another great example of that, and this one really kind of gets me with just all the different font choices they use. It really makes it seem like an authentic kind of guild's guide to the world, which is great for RPG and fantasy fans. In this appendix section at the back, you'll find the 13th issue, which is Songs of Lost Children. This has a different writer, Dan Waters, and also a different artist, Steve Beach, from the original 12 issues in the series. And this is based, I believe, 10 years in the future, but I haven't quite read the end of this yet, so that'll be a surprise for me and for you. After this, we have the Tales from the Book of Ages, which is a source book for a full D&D campaign. It includes details about the gods, lands, beasts, magic, etc. So first of all, it kicks off with a whole bunch of history and background to the world, then goes into maps of the cities and more details as well. As I said, this is a source book for a full D&D campaign based in this universe. It uses the open game license from Wizards of the Coast to produce their custom game content. It's an overview and a bestiary of all the amazing creatures you find, of course, with all their stats and all of their information as well. Some great artwork and detail to the creatures. Very well thought out and deep world. You also have your ubiquitous magic items and all the explanation of these. And then, of course, your playable characters. We talk about things like Paladin, the different classes and the followers, and then character backgrounds as well. And right at the end, we have the Scribes of Canaan, which is just some information about all the different creators, and the final map. This is a glued binding, however it is very light matte paper, so no problems there. Let me cast a quick spell to get that dust jacket back on. Oh, that was a horrible joke, sorry. So though I haven't totally finished my read through of this quite yet, I'm enjoying what I've read so far. So if you're a fantasy comic fan, I would highly recommend picking this up. And while you're picking it up, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and of course comment below on how wrong I am about all my opinions about everything I share with you. And remember, stay perfect. See ya!